Yeah, it's not very easy to speak in a moment like this.
ntabwo byoroshye kuvuga muri iki gihe.
I will come and translate it for I trust him because I know he will do a good job.
Ndamwizeye ashobora gukora ibintu byiza akora.
And pray for Alex because he's not feeling well today.
Turasengera Alex kubera yuko ntabwo ameze neza uyu munsi.
But I'm sure Paul will do a good job as well.
Ariko ndatekereza ko Paul abikora neza.
Welcome in the Word of God.
Ndabakiriye mu ijambo ry'Imana.
But before that, I just want to say like a word of comfort to the family of our brother Thierry and Juliet.
Mbere yuko ntangira ndashaka kuvuga ku ijambo ry'inkomezi kuri famiye ya Juliet na Thierry.
I think we are outside.
Ndatekereza ko bagiye hanze.
I would pray that God will comfort them and their family in general.
Ndasenga kugira ngo Imana bakomeze yababo na famiye muri rusange.
For the loss in their family.
Kubwo kubura umuvandimwe muri famiye.
He lost his sister.
Yabuze mushiki wiwe.
May God give them all the comfort.
Imana ibahereze gukomera kuzuye.
Last Sunday we spoke about the transforming power of questions for those who are not there.
Icyumweru gishize twavuze hejuru yo guhindurwa kubwo guhinduka bitewe no kubaza imbaraga ziri kubaza
cyangwa imbaraga zihindura ziri kubaza ibibazo byiza. We spoke about 4 different ways in which people deal with questions.
Twavuze ingingo eshatu cyangwa se enye uburyo abantu babaza ibibazo cyangwa se uburyo bafata ibibazo.
Number 1,
cyambere,
asking wrong questions leads to wrong answers.
Kubaza ikibazo kibi biganisha guhabwa igisubizo kibi.
That's a fact, you can know that.
Ibyo ngibyo ni ibintu byumvikana.
When you start by asking a wrong question,
iyo utangira ubaza ikibazo kitari cyo,
you cannot expect a good answer to your problem.
Ntabwo ushobora kwizera guhabwa igisubizo cya nyacyo.
So a wrong question always leads to a wrong answer.
Ikibazo kitari cyo igihe cyose gitanga igisubizo kitari cyo.
Number 2,
cya kabiri,
applying the same answer to all the questions doesn't work.
Gukoresha ikibazo kimwe ahantu hose ntabwo bishobora
same answer to
igisubizo ku bibazo bitandukanye ntabwo bishobora gutanga igisubizo cya nyacyo.
I gave you an example of my grandmother.
Yatanze urugero rw'umukecuru umwe.
My grandmother.
Umukecuru umwe nyirakuru.
She used to think that aspirin would heal all the sicknesses.
Kaga yahoraga atekereza ko aspirin ishobora gukiza indwara zose.
Whether you have a headache,
niba urwaye umutwe,
that's okay because aspirin.
Ariko bisaba ko aspirin ishobora kuvura umutwe.
But even when you have stomach pain,
ariko nubwo waba ufite ububabare bwo mu nda,
or back pain, or any other kind of pain,
cyangwa se bwo mu mugongo cyangwa se aho ubabara hari hose,
for her aspirin was
kuri we yumva aspirin ihagije kugira ngo ukire.
So that's how people also sometimes apply the same answer to all kind of questions.
Uko niko abantu bagenda bakoresha igisubizo kimwe ku bibazo ibyo ari byo byose.
Or the same solution
cyangwa se
different kind of problems.
Igisubizo kimwe ku bibazo runaka bitandukanye.
So for every problem there is a solution.
Kuri buri kibazo kigiye kigira igisubizo cyacu.
For every question there is an answer.
Cyangwa se buri kibazo cyose gifite igisubizo cyacu.
So it doesn't work when you apply the same answer or the same solution to different problems.
Ntabwo bishobora gukora iyo ukoresheje ikibazo kimwe ku bibazo bitandukanye.
Number is a good singer. Translations for other people maybe. The last time you did it well, I don't understand. It wasn't. Now I understand. It's because of a lot of stress. His mind is scattered everywhere.
ibitekerezo bye biri ahantu henshi.
There is a beautiful girl somewhere.
Hari umukobwa mwiza ahantu hamwe.
That's all he's thinking about.
Nibyo arimo aratekereza.
But back to the word.
Dusubiye mu ijambo.
I said that number 3.
Navuze icya gatatu.
There are people who ask right questions,
Hari abantu babaza ikibazo cyiza
but they walk away without waiting for the answer.
ariko bakagenda batakiriye igisubizo.
We spoke about the story of Pilate,
Twavuze hejuru y'inkuru ya Pilote.
Pilato.
Pilato.
Abo Pilato yatwaraga indege.
Ya Pilato.
He was a governor, not a pilot,
Yari guverineri ntabwo yari umukozi w'indege.
in Jerusalem.
Muri Yerusalemu.
It was when they, okay, back to the word, please, back to the word.
Mugaruke mu ijambo.
This guy was facing Jesus.
Uwo mugabo yarimo areba Yesu
When they brought to him,
igihe bamuzaniye
accusing him of all kind of things.
bamushinja ibintu byose cyangwa ibyaha byose bibaho.
And then Jesus said something about the truth,
Ariko Yesu avuga ikintu kimwe cy'ukuri
about the truth.
hejuru y'ukuri.
And Pilate asked these questions.
Ababaza kino kibazo.
What is the truth?
Ukuri niki?
What is the truth?
Ukuri niki?
And he walked away without waiting for the answer.
Ahita agenda atabanje gutegereza igisubizo.
It's very sad because he was facing actually the answer of all questions.
Birababaje kubera ko ubundi yakagombye kwakira igisubizo cyangwa yari ari ahantu yagakwiriye kwakira
He
igisubizo
was
cya
talking to the truth himself.
yarimo avugana n'ukuri nyirako.
He has Jesus standing before him,
Yari afite Yesu ahagaze imbere yiwe.
and he asked him the most important question maybe of the human history.
Amubaza ikibazo gikomeye binashoboka kuko ari nacyo kibazo gikomeye mu mateka y'isi.
What is the truth?
Ukuri niki?
And he just leaves without waiting for the answer.
Ariko ahita agenda adategereje igisubizo.
Imagine if he had waited
Tekereza iyo aza kuba yategereje.
for Jesus to give him the answer
Iyo ategereza Yesu kumuheza igisubizo
about the truth.
hejuru y'ukuri.
But the guy just walks away.
Ariko yahise agenda.
Number 4,
Icya kane,
asking right questions
kubaza ikibazo nyacyo cyangwa cyiza
leads to right answer.
kikujyana mu gisubizo cyiza.
But this takes something extra.
Ariko iki ngiki gisaba ikindi cy'inyongera.
If you take time
Iyo ufashe umwanya cyangwa igihe
and search
ugashakisha
deep
cyane
and try to find the answer.
ukagerageza kubona igisubizo.
We saw the story of this journalist who was also a lawyer.
Twavuze hejuru y'inkuru y'umunyamakuru wari umunyamategeko,
And he wanted to disprove the resurrection of Jesus.
yashakaga kugaragaza kuzuka kwa Yesu cyangwa kutabigaragaza.
Yeah. He was trying to find evidence against resurrection.
Yagerageza gushaka ibimenyetso byerekeye hejuru yo kuzuka kwa Yesu cyangwa ko kutabayeho.
Yes. So he did not believe in the resurrection.
Ntabwo yizeraga hejuru kuzuka.
And being a journalist
Kuba umunyamakuru
and a lawyer,
ndetse n'umunyamategeko,
you know lawyers, they argue a lot.
bakunda kuburana cyane.
That's why sometimes we need people like Jean-Pierre.
Niyo mpamvu rimwe na rimwe tujya dukina abantu nka Jean-Pierre.
And I can tell you, he really disturbed people who were dealing with Fabrice's case.
Ndababwiza ukuri yabujije amahoro abantu barimo bagerageza kurwanya Fabrice.
Even though it seems that we did not succeed now,
Nubwo bigaragara ko tutigeze dutsinda kuri ubu ngubu,
for now,
kuri ubu,
but he asked questions.
ariko yabajije ibibazo.
And I'm sure they are still thinking about the questions he asked them.
Ndibaza ko kugeza na n'ubu bakirimo babyibazaho.
That's a lawyer.
Ibyo nibyo biranga abanyamategeko.
So this guy wanted to go after the evidence against resurrection.
Uwo muhungu cyangwa umugabo yagerageje kugenda ashaka ibimenyetso bihakana kuzuka kwa Yesu.
And he started reading the Bible.
Atangira gusoma Bibiliya.
Of course, he wanted to go where they take that story from.
Yashaka kujya aho abantu batekereza yuko bituruka.
And get evidence against what they believe.
Kugira ngo akuremo ibimenyetso bihangana n'ibyo abandi bizera.
So he goes through the story Jesus,
anyura mu mateka Yesu
and he comes to the place where he's dead.
ageraho bavuga yuko yapfuye,
Yes, and he's buried.
yuko bamuhambye,
Then they put guards on the tomb.
ndetse bashira abarinzi ku gituro kiwe.
And not only that, they sealed the stone on that tomb.
Si ibyo gusa, urwo rutare bararufashe barugomaho.
Yes, there was seal.
Yeah.
That means you put a stone, a heavy stone,
bivuze ko ufata ibuye riremereye
on the tomb,
ku gituro,
and you put something also to make sure it doesn't move easily.
ugashyiraho ibindi bintu kugira ngo birangire yuko icyo gitare kitavaho.
And then you put soldiers around that tomb.
Ndetse ugashyiraho n'abasirikare bagota.
So they are trying to make sure that nobody will come and steal the body.
bagerageje uburyo bwose kugira ngo hatagira umuntu uza kugira ngo yibe umurambo.
And remember, the disciples had run away.
mwibuke yuko intumwa zari zahunze.
But then he comes across this story
ageze kuri iyo nkuru,
that the next day, or the first day of the week,
umunsi wa mbere w'icyumweru,
the stone was moved,
cya gitare cyavuye.
and he was no longer in the tomb.
Yesu ntabwo yari akiri.
And the journalist
uwo munyamakuru
and the lawyer,
ndetse n'umunyamategeko,
looking all those evidence,
agerageza kureba ibyo byose, ibyo bimenyetso,
and said, given the situation,
muri iki cyangwa mu
given
mwanya
that
wose,
the whole situation,
muri uwo mwanya wose,
a stone
urutare
that was sealed
rwari rumatiriwe
on the tomb
kumva,
and surrounded by soldiers who were guarding it,
ndetse runarinzwe n'abasirikare,
and knowing that the disciples had run away because they were afraid,
azi neza yuko intumwa zari zahunze kubera ko bari bafite ubwoba.
then he had the question,
agira ikibazo,
who moved the stone?
ninde wakuye urwo rutare?
Who could have moved that stone
ninde wagerageje gukuraho urwo rutare
if it was not God himself?
niba atari Imana ubwayo yonyine?
This guy,
uyu mugabo
instead of finding evidence against the resurrection,
aho kugira ngo abone ibimenyetso birwanya kuzuka,
he found evidence for the resurrection of
ahubwo
Jesus.
yabonye ibimenyetso byuzuye bigaragaza kuzuka kwa
And
Yesu.
he wrote a book about it.
yandika igitabo kivuga hejuru
And the
y'ukuzuka.
title of the book is this question:
umutwe w'icyo gitabo uvuga hejuru y'ikibazo,
who moved the stone?
ninde wakuye ku rutare?
And he became a Christian himself.
yanabaye umukristo.
Amen.
Amen.
Asking the right question
kubaza ikibazo gikwiriye
and go after the answer
ndetse ukagishaka
will lead you to the right answers to your question.
bizakujyana ku gisubizo cya nyacyo.
Amen.
Amen.
I know we have many questions today
ndabizi ko dufite ibibazo byinshi uyu munsi
about our brother Fabrice.
hejuru ya mwene data Fabrice,
Many questions,
ibibazo byinshi
and we're very sad.
kandi turababaye.
And sometimes we wonder why bad things, why God allowed bad things to happen to good people.
rimwe na rimwe turibaza kubera ko Imana ishobora kwemera yuko ibibi biba ku bantu beza.
What did God do with all the prayers we prayed for Fabrice?
niko Imana yamarishije amasengesho yose twasenze ku bwa Fabrice.
We can go on and on asking questions.
dushobora gukomeza twibaza ibyo bibazo byose,
We can speculate.
dushobora kuzenguruka
Because we have people sometimes who tend to explain quickly
kubera ko
things.
hari abantu bagerageza gusobanura vuba byihuse.
But for me, if you ask me right now, why?
ariko ku giti cyanjye mbajije nonaha,
I would say like Fabrice just said in his message,
nk'uko Fabrice yabyivugiye
I
mu
don't
butumwa
know.
bwiwe,
I
ntabwo
don't
mbizi,
know.
ntabwo mbizi,
I don't know.
ntabyo uzi.
And it's okay.
birashoboka,
We don't know.
nta kibazo, ntabyo tuzi.
But please go on asking questions.
ariko komeza ubaza ibibazo,
Try to find answers.
ugerageze gushaka ibisubizo
And until you find the answer,
kugeza aho ubona ibisubizo.
don't try to explain things you don't understand.
ntugerageze gusobanura ibintu utumva.
Sometimes in a moment like this,
rimwe na rimwe mu bihe nk'ibi ngibi,
the Psalm 46,
muri zaburi 46
verse 10,
umurongo wa 10,
be still and know that I am God.
mutuze mumenye yuko ndi Imana.
Makes sense.
Birasobanutse.
When you don't have answers,
Igihe udafite igisubizo,
when you don't understand,
mu gihe utabyumva,
when you have many questions and you don't have answers at the moment,
ufite ibibazo byinshi ariko udafite igisubizo muri uwo mwanya,
sit down
icara hasi
and trust God.
wizere Imana.
He's still God.
Iracyari Imana.
One thing we know for sure,
Ikintu kimwe tuzi neza,
those who believe and trust in God,
ku bizera Imana
is that it's not over.
ntabwo birangiye.
Until God says it's over,
Kugeza aho Imana ivuze ngo birarangiye,
it's not over yet.
ntabwo biba birarangiye.
And sometimes,
Rimwe na rimwe
someone said,
hari uwavuze
things may get worse
ibintu bishobora kuba bibi cyane
before they get better.
mbere y'uko biba byiza.
It can get worse
Bishobora kuba bibi
before it gets better.
mbere y'uko biba byiza.
And trust me, I've seen that in my own life.
Munyizere ibyo nabyiboneye mu buzima bwanjye.
And I'm sure you've seen that in your life as well.
Ndibaza yuko nawe ushobora kuba warabibonye mu buzima bwawe.
Sometimes it gets worse
Rimwe na rimwe biba bibi cyane
before your sun rises.
mbere y'uko izuba ryawe rirasa.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I want to continue on this day.
Nkeneye ko
I wanted
dukomeza
to do that today, continue on the same topic,
dukomereze ku ntego imwe
but
cyangwa
I
message imwe,
feel like deviating a little bit today
ariko ndimo ndumva yuko natandukiriraho gatoya
and look on something else.
tukareba ku bindi.
Maybe because of the situation about our brother,
Birashoboka yuko byatewe
we can learn
n'ibyo
to
twanyuzemo.
one or two things we can reflect together about.
Hari ibyo dushobora kwigiramo kimwe cyangwa bibiri.
Quickly, Matthew
Twihuse muri Matayo
5,
Matayo 5
verse 1 and 2.
umurongo wa mbere kugera kuri kabiri.
Then we jump to verse 16,
Turahita dusimbukira kuri 16.
and then we try to reflect together. I just have one or two things in my heart.
Mfite ibintu bigera kuri kimwe cyangwa bibiri mu mutima wanjye.
We look together.
Reka dusomere hamwe.
Matthew chapter 5,
Matayo ibice 5
verse 1 and 2,
umurongo wa mbere kugera ku wa kabiri.
and then we go to 16.
Turasimbukira tujye kuri 16.
Yeah. 5, 1 and 2.
Umutwe w'amagambo uravuga ngo Yesu yerekana abahiriwe abari. Abonye abantu benshi azamuka umusozi, maze amaze kwicara abigishwa be baramwegera aterura amagambo ati hari.
Yeah, that's what it was. I'll read in English because the versions are a little different, but let me read in English, then I will make my point. Verse 1, and seeing the multitudes, he went up on the mountain, and then he was seated. And when he was seated, his disciples came to him. Then he opened his mouth and taught them. Amen.
Amen.
16.
Kadusome 16 haravuga ngo abe ariko umuco wanyu ubonekera imbere y'abantu kugira ngo babone imirimo yanyu myiza bahere ko bahimbaza isoro mu ijuru. Amen.
Amen. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Amen.
Amen.
I hope I'll be able to explain this because it's a little bit difficult,
Ndizera yuko ndagerageza gusobanura kubera ko byoroshye
and I hope I'll be able to make the point I'm trying to make here.
kandi ndagerageza kuvuga ku ntego nkeneye kuvugaho.
In your different versions, you may probably not find this statement.
Hari amaversion atandukanye.
I read from New King James Version.
Yasomye hejuru ya New King James Version.
It says, verse 2, then he opened his mouth and taught them.
Ku gice cya kabiri haravuga ngo abumbura umunwa we arabavugisha.
He opened his mouth.
Abumbura umunwa we.
In Swahili, I don't know which version you have in Swahili, brother.
version mufite mu
For
Kiswahili.
those who have the Swahili Union Version,
Ku bafite Kiswahili,
it says, naye akafungua kinywa chake
afungura akanwa kiwe,
akawafundisha.
arabigisha.
In Kinyarwanda it says something else. Aterura amagambo ati. But the point I want to make here is like opening this detail, like opening his mouth.
Iri jambo nshaka kuvuga ni hejuru gufungura akanwa kiwe.
Is it necessary to add this detail? You're just talking about someone teaching people.
Urimo uravuga hejuru y'umuntu urimo urigisha abantu.
Why add that detail about opening his mouth?
Kubera iki bavuga ibyo byose ngo afungura akanwa kiwe?
Because many versions actually they say he started teaching them.
Ayandi mafasi bavuga yuko ngo atangira kubigisha.
They don't put this extra detail about opening his mouth.
Ntabwo bashiramo izi nyongera zo kugira ngo afungura akanwa kiwe.
Say, if you want to teach people, you open your mouth. Of course, if you're going to speak, say something, you open your mouth.
Kuko iyo ugiye kwigisha abantu n'ubundi koko ufungura akanwa kawe. Si ngombwa yuko uvuga bavuga yuko afungura akanwa kiwe.
Why this writer is putting this extra detail?
Kubera iki aba banditsi bagerageje gushiraho inyongera ngo afungura akanwa.
And by the way, for those who don't know, I hope it's true what they told me, that the King James Version is the closest version to the original version of the New Testament.
Batari babizi nanjye bimenye vuba nuko bavuga yuko New King James Version ifitanye isano cyane n'isezerano rishya.
Close to the original language, I think Hebrew or Greek.
Ni ifite isano cyane hejuru y'abya bitabo byabanje by'Abagiriki.
So we can believe that actually in the original version of the New Testament, they probably said he opened his mouth.
Bishoboke yuko ku gitabo cya nyacyo bavuga yuko yafunguye akanwa ke.
Why this detail?
Kubera iki bongera kutongera?
Because for many of us it sounds like unnecessary actually to add this.
Kubera muri benshi muri twebwe tegeza yuko atari ngombwa.
But not for the specialist of the speech.
Ariko ku bantu babisobereyemo mu kuvuga.
And the lawyers again.
Ndetse n'abanyamategeko.
It can make a big difference.
Bishobora gukora itandukaniro rinini cyane.
Saying someone taught people
Kuvuga ngo umuntu yigisha abantu.
and saying that someone opened his mouth and taught people.
No kuvuga ngo umuntu yafunguye akanwa kiwe yigisha abantu.
That can make a big difference.
Ibyo bishobora gushiraho itandukaniro rinini cyane.
You can take people to court.
Ushobora gusanga abantu mu rukiko.
And you can see lawyers arguing.
Ushobora kubona abanyamategeko barimo baraburana.
Did he open his mouth, yes or no?
Yafunguye barivuga yafunguye umunwa wiwe yego cyangwa oya.
And one said, yes, he did.
Undi iti yego yarabikoze.
And then, no, he didn't.
Ngo oya ntabyo yakoze.
And you see a lawyer saying, I want to know for sure.
Ugasanga umunyamategeko avuga ndashaka kumenya by'ukuri.
Did he open his mouth?
Yafunguye umunwa wiwe.
Yes or no?
Nibyo cyangwa oya.
It can make a difference.
Bishobora gukora itandukaniro.
Opening your mouth can make a difference.
Gufungura akanwa kawe bishobora gukora itandukaniro.
But it's also possible. The point I want to make.
Birashoboka nicyo nshaka kuvuga.
That you can teach people
Yuko ushobora kwigisha abantu
without opening your mouth.
udafunguye umunwa wawe.
Amen.
Amen.
It's possible
Birashoboka
to teach people
kwigisha abantu
without opening your mouth.
utarinze ufungura akanwa kawe.
And I believe
Ndizera yuko
that makes a difference
bikora itandukaniro
between preachers
hagati y'abigisha
and speakers.
ndetse n'abavuzi.
Speakers open their mouths and speak.
Abavuzi bafungura akanwa kabo bakavuga.
I'm speaking.
Ndimo ndavuga.
Opening my mouth, of course.
Ndimo ndafungura.
I shut my mouth, you won't hear anything.
Kuko mfunze umunwa wanjye ntabwo ushaka kumva ikintu na kimwe.
But the fact that I'm speaking to you right now
Kubera ko ndimo ndabavugisha nonaha
doesn't necessarily make me a good preacher.
ntabwo bivuze yuko ndi umwigisha mwiza cyangwa umuvugabutumwa mwiza.
And the fact that you're not saying anything right now,
no kuba mutarimo muravuga ikintu na kimwe nonaha,
it doesn't mean you're not preachers.
ntabwo bivuze yuko mutari abavugabutumwa.
In fact, whether you open your mouth or not,
Wafungura umunwa wawe cyangwa ntufungure,
you are a preacher.
uri umuvugabutumwa,
You are a preacher.
uri umwigisha.
People watch you.
Abantu barakubona.
Whether you speak or not,
wavuga cyangwa utavuga
people watch you.
abantu barakureba.
Speaking about Fabrice,
Tugiye kuvuga hejuru ya Fabrice,
I don't remember Fabrice preaching here.
ntabwo nibuka Fabrice ahagarara hano akabwiriza.
It's not easy to get this microphone.
Ntibyoroshye kugira ngo wakire iyi mikorofone hano.
But getting this microphone here doesn't make you a good preacher.
Ariko kwakira ino mikorofone ntabwo aribyo bikugira umwigisha mwiza.
For me, Fabrice was a better preacher than people who have been speaking here for years and years.
Ku giti cyanjye Fabrice ni umwigisha mwiza kuruta abantu bahagaze aha ngaha bombi bavuga imyaka n'imyaka.
Saint Francis of Assisi, Saint François d'Assise.
Saint François
d'Assise. He was a saint.
Mutagatifu
They call him Francis of Assisi.
Francis.
Mutagatifu Francis.
Saint François d'Assise.
Mutagatifu François d'Assise.
They say that he said once.
Yavuze yigeze kuvuga.
People say, or some argue that it's not him who said it.
Abantu baravuga.
But some say he said,
Bamwe bavuga yuko yavuze.
Preach the gospel.
Kuvuga ubutumwa bwiza.
Preach the gospel. He was telling people.
Yarimo abwira abantu ati muvuge ubutumwa bwiza.
All the time.
Igihe cyose.
And when necessary,
Mu gihe gikwiriye
use words.
ukoresha amagambo.
Preach the gospel all the time.
Muvuge ubutumwa bwiza igihe cyose.
When necessary,
Mu gihe gikwiriye
use words.
ukoreshe amagambo.
Some people say it's not him who said that, or maybe they transformed his speech.
Bamwe bavuga ko atari babandi bashobora kuba barahinduye amagambo yavuze.
But whether it's him or not,
Niba ari we cyangwa we atari we,
there is something to learn from this statement.
hari ikintu cyo kwiga hejuru muri iri jambo.
That preaching is not only about words.
Yuko kwigisha atari hejuru yo magambo gusa.
You can preach
Urashobora kwigisha
without speaking.
utarinze uvuga.
Amen.
Amen.
They said
Baravuze
that the actual statement St. Francis of Assisi made,
icyo uwo Francis
probably for sure,
uwo Francis
what he said,
icyo yavuze,
it's no use walking anywhere to preach. It's no use actually
ntacyo bivuze cyangwa ntacyo bimaze
walking anywhere to preach
kujya ahariho hose kubwiriza
unless
atari uko
our walking is our preaching.
urugendo rwacu ari inyigisho.
It's no use
Ntacyo bimaze
walking anywhere
kugenda ahariho hose
to preach
kugira ngo ubwirize
unless our walking is our preaching.
mu gihe urugendo rwacu atari inyigisho.
If we don't preach,
Imyitwarire yacu atari inyigisho.
if we don't preach,
Iyo tutabwirije
by the way we live,
mu buryo tubayeho,
by the way we behave,
mu buryo twitwara,
by the way we live with other people,
mu buryo tubanye n'abandi,
then it doesn't make sense to come and shout here before people.
ntacyo bimaze kugira ngo tuzangahama tugire abantu.
That's lesson number one.
Icyo ni icyigisho cya mbere.
Words mean nothing
Amagambo ntacyo avuze
if it's not preceded by the example.
mu gihe utabayeho nk'urugero.
It means nothing
Ntacyo bivuze
if it's not preceded
niba bitagaragaza cyangwa utabayeho,
by the example of our life.
utabayeho muri urwo rugero mu buzima bwawe.
Lesson number two
Icyigisho cya kabiri,
is that our reputation,
imyitwarire yacu
uko abantu batuzi,
cyangwa uko abantu batubona
speaks louder
bivuga cyane
than our words.
kuruta amagambo.
Because our reputation
Uko abantu batubona
is the filter.
ni n'akayunguruzo,
It's the filter
n'akayunguruzo
of how people receive our words.
y'uburyo abantu bakira amagambo yacu.
So I'm standing here in front of you.
Mpagaze imbere yanyu,
If you know me in a certain way,
nimba munsi mu bundi buryo runaka,
if you know any bad behavior about me,
nimba hari ibimunsiho
that means even if I can speak like an angel,
bivuze ko naho navuga nk'umumarayika
you're filtering my words
murimo murayungurura amagambo yanjye
through my reputation.
binyuze mu buryo munsi.
So by the time I stand before you,
igihe cyose mpagaze imbere yanyu,
the first thing, even before I speak,
ikintu cya mbere na mbere y'uko mvuga,
you have already judged me.
mwarangije kunca urubanza.
Okay, ntabwo mvuze ko ari rubi. Judging in English is not the same as judging in English. Judging is like you examine someone.
mwarangije kundondora.
Well, you're looking at someone
urimo ureba ku muntu
and make an opinion about them already,
warangiza ukamurondora ukamufata uko
even before they
na mbere y'uko
speak. So by the time they start speaking,
igihe rero batangiye kuvuga,
you are filtering their words
urimo urayungurura amagambo yabo
through their reputation.
binyuze mu buryo ubaza.
So the way you receive my words,
rero uburyo mwakira amagambo yanjye
probably not the same way you would receive Angel's words.
birashoboka ko bitandukanye n'uburyo mwakwakira amagambo.
I'll give you an example.
reka mbahe urugero.
Imagine they tell you
urugero barakubwiye ngo
that, let's say, Barack Obama is coming to give a speech
yuko
in Amsterdam or I don't know, in Rotterdam, in that big stadium.
yuko Barack Obama agiye kuza gutanga disikuru ahangaha muri Rotterdam cyangwa ahandi aho ariho hose.
Everyone will go there.
abantu bose bajyayo.
But imagine
ariko ibaze
that Barack Obama says,
Barack Obama avuze
I'm going to write my speech
ngiye kwandika
and give it to John,
nyiheze John,
and John will go read my speech for people at the stadium in Amsterdam or Rotterdam.
John azagenda ayisomere abantu muri stade baje.
How many people will show up?
ni abantu bangahe bazabona icyo gihe?
Nobody. Nobody. Why?
kubera iki?
Even though they know it's Barack Obama's speech,
nubwo bazi yuko ari disikuru ya Barack Obama,
he's the one who wrote it.
yuko ari we wanayanditse ubwe,
But if they know it's John who is going to read it for him,
ariko bako bazi ko ari John ugiye kuyibasomera,
nobody will show up.
nta muntu n'umwe wahaboneka.
That means
bisobanuye
words only mean nothing.
amagambo ntacyo avuze.
People listen to us
abantu batwumva
because of what they know about us, even before they speak, even before we speak.
bagendeye ku byo batuziho mbere y'uko tunavuga.
People are attracted
abantu bakururwa
by who we are,
kuwuriwe,
not by what we say.
atari kubera ibyo wavuze.
Who we are,
abo turi bo,
who you are,
uwuriwe
is more attractive
nibyo bikurura
than your words.
kuruta amagambo yawe.
Amen.
Amen.
That's why Jesus is telling them here in this teaching,
niyo mpamvu Yesu yababwiye ahangaha muri izi nyigisho,
let your light shine.
mureke umuco wanyu murike.
He did not tell them, shout that people listen, hear your words.
ntabwo yababwiye ngo mutere hejuru abantu bumva amagambo yanyu.
He's not telling them, go speak to everyone, go speak to people, let them hear your words.
ntabwo yababwiye ngo mugende mubwire abantu bose kugira ngo bumve amagambo yanyu.
No, he said, shine before them.
yarababwiye ati ngo mumurike imbere yabo.
Shine before them,
mumurike imbere yabo
that they may see,
kugira ngo babone,
not hear,
atari ukumva,
see
babone
your good works.
imirimo yanyu myiza,
And then
nyuma
glorify your Father
muheshe Imana icyubahiro
in heaven.
uri mu ijuru.
Amen.
Amen.
You are a preacher,
murabigisha
whether you speak or not.
wavuga cyangwa utavuga.
The question is,
ikibazo ni iki?
what do people see
niki abantu babona
when they look at you?
iyo bakureba?
Because real preachers
abigisha banyabo
are not those who have microphones here.
ntabwo ari bariya bafata mikrofone.
Real preachers
abigisha banyabo
is people who live in a way
ni abantu babayeho mu buryo
that shine,
bumurika,
and the world looked at them, looks at them,
n'abantu babareba
they see the good works
bakabona imirimo myiza
and they glorify you, God.
bagahesha Imana Data icyubahiro.
Those are the true preachers.
Abo nibo bigisha banyawe cyangwa bukuru.
The world looks at you,
Uburyo abantu bakubona
see the good works,
bakabona imirimo myiza,
they see your light,
bakabona umuco wawe
you're shining,
urimo uramurika,
whether you speak or not.
wavuga cyangwa utavuga,
They look at you
bakakureba byonyine
and glorify God.
bagahesha Imana icyubahiro.
This is the kind of people. This is the kind of people,
Ubwo nibwo bwoko bw'abantu
or Christians,
cyangwa bw'abakristo
that God wants you and me to be.
Imana ikeneye ko ubaho,
Not just words,
atari amagambo gusa.
the way we live,
Uburyo tubaye,
who we are,
abo turiho,
how the world knows us.
uburyo isi ituzi,
Are we shining?
uburyo tumurika.
Are we shining to the world?
Turimo turamurika ku isi.
If yes,
Nimba ari byo
then you can speak.
urashobora kuvuga,
It's okay.
nta kibazo.
If not,
Nimba atari byo
your words mean nothing.
amagambo yawe ntacyo avuze,
Your words mean nothing
amagambo yawe ntacyo asobanuye
if you don't stand.
niba utamurika.
I encourage you
Ndabashishikariza
to be good preachers,
kuba abigisha beza,
not only in your words,
atari mu magambo gusa
but in your works.
ariko mu bikorwa byanyu.
Shine,
Mumurike,
shine,
mumurike,
shine.
mumurike.
Let the world see your good works.
Mureke isi ibone imirimo yanyu myiza,
Wherever you are,
aho uri hose,
wherever you are,
aho ariho hose.
and let them,
Mureke
let the world
isi
glorify God for you.
iheshe Imana icyubahiro bwayo.
That's the true preaching.
Abo nibo bigisha banyawe.
Amen.
Amen.
God bless you.
Imana